Today we're going to be factoring trinomials, and our objective is that we will be able to factor a quadratic expression. So the standard form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. And these letters are going to be important when we write the steps. And today we're going to be learning how we're going to be factoring a trinomial, and a trinomial just means that it has 3 terms. So last class we factored 4 terms. We're going to use this process today to change the 3 terms into 4 terms so we can use what we learned last class. So first we're going to factor out the GCF if possible. Then we're going to multiply a and c. So the number in front of the x squared and the number on the end that doesn't have an x. Then we're going to find the factors of the answer in step 2, so whatever answer we get from multiplying, that add up to b, so the number that's in front of x. Then we're going to split bx into 2 terms using the answers that we got in step 3. And then finally we're going to factor by grouping. I know that sounds a little confusing, but I'm going to show you what I mean in the examples. So, factor out the GCF if possible. Well, 4, 8, and 3 don't have anything that divides into all of them, and not all the terms have an x, so we don't have a GCF here. So we're going to take a and c, and we're going to multiply them together. So 4 times 3 equals 12. Now I'm going to make a list of things that multiply to give me 12. I could do 1 and 12, 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. I want to pick the pair that adds up to 8 because that's my b term. So 2 and 6 add up to 8. So instead of 8x, I'm going to turn it into 2x plus 6x. I'm going to bring down my 4x squared and my 3. And now I'm going to factor by grouping. So group the first 2 together, group the second 2 together. These 2 have 2x in common. So I factor out 2x, and I'm left with 2x plus 1. Then 6x and 3 have 3 in common, so I'm going to factor that out. So factor out 3. When I divide, I get 2x plus 1. My matching parenthesis is one of my factors, and my GCFs are my other factor. So let's try another one. I'm going to multiply my a and c. So 4 times negative 5. That gives me negative 20. So the numbers that multiply to give me 20 would be 1 and 20, 2 and 10, or 4 and 5. Since they multiplied to a negative, I know that one of the numbers in each pair has to be negative. Since my b term is positive, I know the smaller number is going to be the negative here. So it's either negative 1, negative 2, or negative 4. So which pair adds up to 8? It's negative 2 and 10. So I'm going to rewrite 8x as negative 2x plus 10x. Bring down my other terms. And now I can factor by grouping. Group the first 2. They have a 2x in common. So 2x times 2x minus 1. My second 2 terms, have a 5 in common. And so matching factor and my GCFs. All right, this one, if we notice, all 3 terms have x's, so we definitely have a GCF this time, and all 3 terms are divisible by 7. So I'm going to take out 7x cubed before we start. So I'm at 7x cubed, and I'd be left with x squared minus 5x plus 4. Since I don't need the 7x cubed while I'm doing my grouping, I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to sort of cover that up, and I'm going to focus on what's left here. So my a would be 1, and my c is 4, so 1 times 4 equals 4. And my factors are either 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. Since it multiplies to a positive but adds to a negative, I know both terms are negative this time. And which pair adds up to -5? That would be -1 and -4. So I'm going to split this up into -1x minus 4x, bring down my x squared and the plus 4. And now I can group. Group the first two, group the second two. These both have an x. I'll be left with x minus 1. Anytime this front term is negative, you're almost always going to divide out the negative. So minus 4. -4 and -4 would be positive 1x, and 4 divided by -4 would be minus 1. We also got to remember these parentheses have to match, and if we didn't divide out the negative, they'd have different signs. So my factors would be x minus 1 and x minus 4. But because we took out this 7x cubed here, we're going to have to bring it back in all my other steps. So there, and there, and in front of my final answer. That's all for today. Fill in your summary, and I'll see you in class.